Hi guys, всем привет! Welcome to my channel AllasYummyFood. I'm so happy to have you here. Today we're going to be making apple, cinnamon and salted caramel marshmallows. Now in Latvia we call this Zephyr, and Zephyr is so popular. It's a cross between marshmallow and meringue, so it's something in the middle. If you've never tried it, it has a really nice crunchy sort of consistency outside and then very pillowy and soft consistency inside. However, today we're not just making simple apple Zephyr, we're going to be putting a little surprise in there, and these are very popular in Latvia, so I really wanted to recreate this recipe. So you're going to have a bit of caramel in each bite plus a bit of cinnamon, so technically it's like an apple pie with caramel in a small bite. I really hope you enjoy this video. To get access to all my recipes you can join on my website and become a member today. I have left all the information down below in the description box how you can become a member, and yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. Now let's get started. First we're going to make apple puree. So I've got my apples here. I'm gonna take off the seeds inside using a tool, but again you can just cut your apples in half and deseed them. It's completely up to you. We then want to get rid of any skin, so peel until they are completely done. Now you can use any apples that you like. If you use sour apples, the puree will be slightly more sour. Of course, if you use sweeter apples, it will be much sweeter. So you can then adjust the sugar depending on kind of what you like. But we're not going to be adding any additional sugar to this puree, so that, you know, we don't need extra sugar. You can then use this puree in any other recipes. Chop your apples into nice small pieces. The smaller you chop them, the easier it will be to cook them and the faster they will cook. But you can also chop them in bigger chunks as well, and there are several ways to cook your apples. You can put them in a microwave as well. You can put them into your oven. I'm gonna just do it in a pot. So once all your apples are chopped, just add them simply into your large pot like this, and you're going to add a little bit of water. We're going to cook them on kind of like a medium-low heat so that the apples cook and steam. I'm going to cook them until they're completely softened. You might need to add more water in the process, depends how quickly the water evaporates. So if you feel like the water has evaporated, you can add a little bit of water. But don't forget, apples do release a lot of water themselves, so don't overdo this step. It's better to not add too much water than over add. And you can see my apples have browned a little bit more here, but they're still not cooked, so I've added a little bit more water. And I'm just going to cook them on a low heat until they're fully soft. You can also use a knife or prick them with your wooden spatula to see how cooked they are. Once your apples have cooked, you can blitz them with a hand blender or put them into a food processor. It's completely up to you. And that's your apple puree done. If you don't like little bits of apples, you can sift the puree through. Next, we need to prepare everything before we start making Zefir. So here I've got my condensed milk boiled, which makes a caramel. I've got this one from Latvia, but you can use any caramel that is hard, like you can see in the video. So if you don't have this type of caramel, you can boil a can of condensed milk for a few hours. You want to prep your baking paper together with your baking tray so that you can pipe your Zefirs later. We will also prepare our mixture. So in a bowl, add your puree, and we're going to have to do this process in two ways. Then add your egg white, and I'm adding also cinnamon because I really want to have a cinnamon flavor. Then you're going to place it onto your stand mixer, and you're going to whisk this for a few minutes until you start to see that the mixture has thickened and the egg whites are incorporated together with the puree. And we're really looking to whip this up halfway through before adding our hot syrup. You do want to make this step in advance so that you're not stressed out that your mixture isn't whisked enough before adding the syrup. And it should become nice, white and pale like you can see in the video. Once it has that, you want to stop the mixer for a second and then go and make your syrup. Now to make your syrup, you want to add water, sugar, and glucose syrup inside. Okay, you then also want to add your agar-agar and place everything onto the stove. You're going to cook this on a medium to low heat. You want to make sure that all your ingredients melt together and it creates a nice beautiful syrup. Don't be tempted to cook this very fast, because you need to make sure that the syrup cooks and agar will activate after the mixture starts to boil. So this can take from 5 minutes up to 7 minutes cooking on a medium speed. You need to make sure that the mixture cooks to around 110 degrees Celsius, or when you start to see that it becomes a bit sloppy. So like a thicker consistency of like a yogurt, I would say, you know, that drips down. The mixture will bubble, which is absolutely normal, and agar will kind of become a bit brown in color, and that's when you know that your syrup is nearly done. Once it reaches that temperature or the consistency that you're looking for, like you can see here in the video, you want to take it off the heat. You want to turn on your stand mixer on high speed and start pouring your syrup on the side very slowly. You want to do this on the side so that your syrup doesn't touch the whisk by accident, because if it will touch it by accident, it will go everywhere. So you have to be very careful. Once you've poured all your syrup, you're going to continue to whisk on high speed until you will see the mixture will double in size and cool down and become nice and firm. Make sure that you don't over whisk the mixture or it will become runny and the Zefir will not work anymore. So you really need to watch this step here and not leave the stand mix aside to make sure that you get nice stiff peaks. The mixture will also become different color, it will become a lot more paler than when you originally started, and that is absolutely normal. Now take your piping bag lined with the star-shaped nozzle, or you can use any other nozzle that you like, and place your mixture inside. You want to put all your mixture ideally into your piping bag. If you don't have enough, then you can use 2 piping bags. As the agar-agar sets at around 40 degrees Celsius, the mixture will start to set as well. So you really need to work quickly here. You need to make sure that everything is ready. And once your mixture is inside the piping bag, you want to start piping around your caramel. You go around in a circular motion and then hiding the caramel, just like you can see in the video. So repeat the process until you've done all your Zefir. And then once it's all ready, you're gonna leave it to set overnight or ideally for 24 hours so it hardens. This can happen faster for you or slower, depends on the humidity level and depends where you are. Now once they're done, I do recommend adding a bit of icing sugar on top of each Zefir because it will be very sticky. And using your hands, you can dip them in icing sugar as well. You want to peel first half of the Zefir and then glue it together with your second half. Take them off very nice and gentle, and the both halves will glue easily together. And then you want to dip it back into the icing sugar. I have prepared a little bowl here where I've put my icing sugar so it's easy for me to dip my Zefir. And you just want to go around and repeat the process until you've done your entire Zefir. So this recipe will make 24 halves and 12 full large Zefirs like this. Like I said, if you want to make more, you can just increase the recipe. Zefir will also harden as it sits in a room temperature, so the longer you leave it, the longer it will stay. This particular recipe with apple puree becomes hard quite quickly, so I would recommend to consume the Zefir within 2 to 3, maximum 4 days. I think it's time to cut inside and have a look. How does it look inside? It's absolutely delicious. You can see that it's gone really fluffy inside. It's quite chewy on the outside. You've got delicious flavor of cinnamon and vanilla, and you have that beautiful caramel center there. I absolutely love this flavor. It's one of my favorites, and it really brings me to my childhood. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I can't wait to see your creations.